The World Press Freedom Day is being marked globally today under the theme Media for Democracy, Journalism and Elections in Times of Disinformation. The day is being observed at a time when journalism is in the spotlight of a proliferation of fake news and crackdowns by governments, especially during elections.
All right, so here in Kenya, it comes in the backdrop of recent violent attacks on journalists and attempts to make laws that take away the freedom to do their work. Our very own Miriam Nyambura is joining us right now. Miriam, so happy World Press Freedom Day, I guess, from one journalist to the other. I want to hear from you as a journalist who is normally covering a specific county. How difficult or how easy is it to be a county journalist? Miriam, good morning. Can you hear me?
A very good morning to you, Zinzi and Trevor. And indeed, it is World Press Freedom Day, a day set aside to celebrate journalists as well as find out about the situation of a journalist. Remember, the Constitution provides that every journalist has the right of freedom to access information. But even as that is going on, there are so many issues that, or other issues that journalists face. Among them are the threats, as well as issues to do with remuneration, as well as access to information. And but this situation so far, we're seeing that there's some sort of improvement in relation to the press freedom in our country, Kenya. But joining me here is Kioko Kivandi, who is the Secretary General Nakuru chapter, just to shed more light about the issues that face journalists. But what we understand as well is that there is a procession that is expected to take place here in Nakuru town, starting as early as 10 a.m. But joining me here is Kioko Kivandi. Just tell us, we are seeing that journalists are trying. What do you make of the issue that press freedom? How far have we gone?
I think as a country we have made quite a number of strides. I mean, in the kind of legislations that we have that support journalists in the country, and this has been experienced from the time actually we had whatever we always keep on calling the new constitution, even if it is no longer new. But that can always remain to be just on paper. On the ground here, there are still some issues that need to be handled. Journalists are still being threatened. Apart from being threatened by authorities, we've also seen journalists being threatened by communities within which they work. And there are also quite a number of difficulties within the environment that journalists work in. Some kind of, we look at remuneration, we look at difficult situations that journalists work in, lack of resources, and so on and so forth. So while at one turn we are making quite a number of strides, on the other hand, there are quite difficulties that are taking away those gains. Yes.
I mean, this is an era of fake news. You're seeing a lot of fake news cropping up. What is the best advice you could give to journalists at this time? Remember, again, this year's theme is Media and Democracy, Journalism and Elections at a time of disinformation. What do you make of this?
Yes, when we talk about disinformation in the way it affects the media, I think we can look at it in two ways. First of all, the media sometimes is accused of spreading fake news. But on the other hand, the media has been impacted so much by disinformation in the sense that, you know, disinformation or fake news spreads pretty fast. And sometimes by the time the media comes in to counter that, it becomes even very difficult to counter, you know, the narratives. But what we've been doing on the ground is training journalists to know, first of all, how to confirm reports and also to be cautious when it comes to spreading that kind of information. So we have been training journalists to tell them not to just rush